My name is Paige. I'm a 26-year-old company employee. My mother, Penny, single-handedly raised me and my little sister, Rachel, who was 4 years younger than me. It all happened around the time I was a senior in high school.
I'm home.
Oh, welcome home, Mom. Dinner is ready. Wait, Mom? You look really exhausted. I'm going to pour some healthy tea for you before dinner.
Yeah. Thank you for always helping, Paige.
Also, hey, Mom, I'm thinking that I am actually not going to go to college and I'm just going to get a job.
What? But I told you that if you're worried about the money, it's going to be fine. It's better if you go to college.
That's right. Straight after I graduated from high school, I got a job at a small company. Thanks to my mom working so hard, I was able to have a really fun school life up until now, and that was more than enough for me. When I got my first job, it was really difficult for me to get used to it, but my mom was able to work less, and she didn't look as tired as she used to before, so I was relieved. However, a few years ago, Rachel messed everything up. Rachel was the type of girl that if she wasn't number one, she couldn't stand it. That's the type that she was, so she also had good grades. When it came to exams and sports, she would always get first place. And any time that she would surpass somebody that was above her, she would always say, "This is why I'm the best. This is why I'm so amazing. I win." And she would get carried away. I did worry about how competitive she was and how much she hated losing. But I did think that it was amazing that she was so good at sports and school, so I genuinely acknowledged her efforts. But when she became a high school student, Rachel got a part-time job, and she quit within a few days. And the next job, and the next job was the same. And her reason was that she didn't want to work somewhere when there were people that were better at the job than her, even though it's an impossible thing to be in the top place when you just started at a job. On top of that, not long after Rachel got into college, that took pride in a high deviation value. I brought my boyfriend at the time named Nelson home to the family house. We were planning on getting married. It all happened that night. Suddenly, Rachel came into my bedroom and said,
"Hey, Paige, why is it that I can't get a boyfriend? What do I have to do to get a boyfriend?"
"What?" Interesting. I didn't know that she was interested in relationships like that. I don't really know how, but... Oh, I know. Sometimes instead of always reading school books, maybe you can try reading this. I handed Rachel a number of fashion magazines that I had. And then a few days later, to our shock, Rachel took the expensive jewels that our mother treasured and took them out without permission. My mom was the very first person to notice that, and as soon as Rachel got home, she confronted her. Rachel confessed that she tried to sell it somewhere and make money. Luckily, Rachel wasn't walking around with any form of ID, so no shop would purchase them from her, and she ended up having to come straight home.
My goodness. Rachel, what on earth were you thinking? Don't you know it's a crime to steal people's belongings like that?
But it said on the internet that robbery that happens with a family won't be punished that much. But also, why is it that my sister gets to have a boyfriend and I don't have one? That makes it look like I'm losing.
What are you saying? Obviously, that's not something to be competing about.
I can't accept it. I am doing exactly as the magazine says. Buying trendy clothes and going to the beauty salon. I need to be popular. That's why I need money. I had no other choice.
I see. I had thought that Rachel had become interested in boys and relationships, but it was simply that she was feeling her competitiveness against me and felt like she was losing. But that was no reason to take it this far. That's crazy. And then the same thing happened a number of times. And ultimately, my mom ended up having to kick Rachel out of the family house. Well, my mom did yell to Rachel, "Get out of the house." But I know that it was really just an act because my mom wanted Rachel to live by herself and to learn a little bit more about the way the world works. Every now and then I would go to check in on her and I would help her with the bare minimum of her life. My mom was also supporting her in the background as well. Even the place where Rachel would live, she was able to rent for cheap because of my mom's high school friend named Mr. Isaac's connection. But to Rachel, we told her that it was an apartment that I found, and we had her live there. I was the only one that met Mr. Isaac directly, and it turns out that Mr. Isaac was actually head over heels for my mom. But, well, no matter how old my mom gets, she's always an attractive woman. Right around that time, Nelson and I got engaged. We rented an apartment near the family house, and Nelson and I were living together. Nelson was working as a chef at a restaurant, but the company where he was working collapsed, and he was in the middle of searching for a job. During that time, while I was working, he was a stay-at-home husband. And then, when I went to tell Rachel that I was engaged to Nelson, we invited her over, and Nelson cooked up a meal for us, but...
What? Wait, you guys are getting married?
Yeah, I'm gonna be your brother-in-law, Rachel.
Interesting. My sister is getting married?
But also, Rachel, I heard that you got a job offer from a major company? That's amazing! Congratulations!
That's right. As usual, Rachel wasn't able to keep any part-time jobs, but thankfully, she was able to get a job offer from a big company. As her big sister, I was relieved. However, a few weeks later, it was around the time a few days after Nelson and I had submitted our marriage certificate. That day was Nelson's birthday, and as a secret to Nelson, I took half a day off of work, and I was planning on throwing a surprise party for him. I asked my mom for help, and we prepared the family house for the birthday party before I went back to my own apartment. However, the moment that I opened the front door, wait a minute, aren't these Rachel's shoes? On top of that, I was hearing a commotion from the bedroom. I had a bad feeling, so I immediately headed towards the bedroom and I strongly slammed the door open. But then, standing there, Nelson and Rachel panicking to put their clothes on. What the hell were you two doing?
No, this isn't...
I'm asking you, what the hell were you two doing? After that, I squeezed the two of them, and they confessed that a few days after we told Rachel about our engagement, the two of them had started an affair. This was the worst. I called my mom on the spot, as well as my in-laws, and I reported this on the phone to them. And this time, my mom said she was going to disown Rachel for good. My in-laws also said that they were going to cut off all ties with Nelson, and they apologized to me over and over again. Of course, I also told Nelson and Rachel that I was getting a divorce and cutting off all ties with them, and that I would be suing them for a settlement fee. And then I would also have Nelson pay me back for all of the wedding cost as well.
Huh? But I'm in the middle of job searching right now, and Rachel's still a student. There's obviously no way that we'd be able to pay a settlement fee.
What are you saying? You're gonna take responsibility for this.
Responsibility? But isn't this enough? I mean, first of all, I'm your little sister, so you can just shut up and let me have him as the older sister.
Excuse me? That's enough already. I'm going to be collecting a full settlement fee from you.
Damn it, whatever. Now that I think about it, more than you, who's only working at a small company, it's gonna be better for me to be with Rachel, who's planning on joining a major company, you peasant woman. I'm gonna get remarried to your little sister. She's better than you.
Yeah, let's do that. Nelson, thank goodness, and this means that I win.
These bastards, I hate them. I knew that it would be useless to continue speaking to these two brainless idiots, so I gathered up all of my belongings and I went back to the family house. And then, I turned in the divorce papers to the city office, and the following week, I heard from a mutual friend with Nelson that Nelson and Rachel got remarried. I can't believe that they would get remarried the week after the divorce. What's wrong with them? And then, a few months later, I was at the front door of a hotel with my mom. But then...
Wait a minute. What are my sister and mom doing here?
Huh? Rachel? But why? Standing there was Rachel in a wedding dress. On top of that, standing next to her was Nelson.
Shoot, Rachel, you invited these people to the wedding?
No, I didn't invite them.
I'm sorry, but we haven't prepared any seats for you people. But also, because we had to pay you the settlement fee, do you have any idea how hard it was for us to pay for the wedding? I had to take out so many loans. Well, we're going to get Rachel's official offer soon. So once she starts her job, we'll be able to pay back the debt straight away. And you know, both Rachel and I still hate you to this day.
Huh? Hate me? I should be the one saying that to you.
Seriously, because of you, we had to struggle so much. Well, anyway, you can just leave the celebratory money.
At those words, I could feel the angry aura blazing from my mom. I had also lost my temper. These idiots, they're messing around way too much. However, after this, these two were about to experience even more of a disaster ahead. We're not here for your wedding or whatever.
What?
And at that moment...
Hey, Penny! Paige!
And this gentleman was the person that I briefly mentioned before. The man that was head over heels for my mom, Mr. Isaac. However...
The CEO!
In an instant, Rachel flipped around and immediately bowed her head down.
Hello, sir. What is the CEO doing here?
What? Rachel? Who's this person?
He's the CEO of the company that I have a job offer from.
What? And you came out of your way to come and celebrate Rachel's wedding? And this is why Rachel is the best, with the best grades. Even though you haven't got an official contract yet, the CEO came to your wedding. You must be the new hire with the highest hope.
Nelson's eyes were sparkling with excitement. However,
Huh? What are you saying? Oh, you're Miss Rachel. I see. So I guess this means that today is your wedding? I actually have my company party at this hotel. That's the only reason why I'm here. Huh? Oh, I see. Is that so?
Yes, that's right, sir. Hey, Nelson, obviously it would be crazy for the CEO of my company to come to my wedding today.
Well, that's true. But also, Mr. CEO, is Rachel going to be getting an official job offer from your company? She has the highest grades at one of the most famous universities. So obviously, you're going to be giving her an official contract, right?
as Nelson was asking that, Rachel was standing next to him, grinning from ear to ear with a face full of confidence as she tried to act humble, but
Huh? We've already rescinded your job offer.
when Mrs. said that, Rachel and Nelson stood there with their mouths wide open.
What?
And together they both let out a scream.
But why? Why wouldn't you hire me when I have the best grades?
I'm actually a friend of your mother, Penny, since we were in school. And your job offer was decided because your mother came and begged me to give you a chance. It wasn't because of your own skills.
Huh? Friend? But also my mom is the one that kicked me out of the house. There's no way that she would.
Don't you know that our mom has been supporting you from behind the scenes all this time?
What?
And plus, don't tell me that you think that just because you have good grades in school, that you're gonna be able to do well in life. Sometimes there are people like that. They try to act big because of their education, but they can't actually do any work. When it came to Penny's request, I listened to almost all of it. But when it comes to you, in the beginning, I was hesitant. Your attitude at the interview wasn't very good, but still, it was a request from Penny. I was gonna look at your attitude through the trial period, and then make a decision whether we were going to officially hire you or not. But you stole your own sister's husband, and cut off all ties with your mom. Ain't that right? In that case, there's no reason I should have to hire you anymore.
No way.
Wait! Hey, please wait! What's going to happen to all of our loans? Huh? Rachel said that she was going to get a job at a major company, so we ended up taking out a really big loan. Please, is there any way you can hire her? I don't even know where to start with the two of you. You're so stupid that I almost feel sorry for you. You may have gotten carried away because you thought you were gonna get a job offer and taken out a loan, but that ain't none of my business. But also, more importantly, Penny, Paige, we need to go to the party venue. Otherwise, the party's about to start. The two of you are the main event today after all.
Huh? Main event?
Well, today's the day that we're gonna announce my wedding to Penny, to all of the employees and business partners.
You're marrying the CEO?
And also, we're gonna be announcing to everybody today that Paige is being welcomed into the company as a director. Paige is going to be a director? At a major company? Paige!
What?
Please, start over with me!
To my disbelief, Nelson dropped down on his knees towards me.
Excuse me?
Without hesitating, Rachel grabbed Nelson by the collar.
Hey, what was that?
Shut up! Hey, Paige, please. We were in love with each other once, right?
You're the worst. The moment that you hear that my big sister is going to become a director at a major company, you switch right back over to her. You're just after her money anyway.
Shut up! Hey, Paige, with me!
You are the worst.
What the hell are you doing, you bastard?
And then, on the spot, Rachel and Nelson began a big fist fight. The vases and other furniture that were around there were rolling around everywhere, and it was dangerous. And well, it was a scene straight out of hell.
Paige, why don't we just leave them here?
You're right. We don't have time for them anymore anyway. A few hours later, when I was on my way back from the restroom in the middle of the party, I looked down at the hotel entrance from the top of the staircase, but the two of them were sobbing, and they were sitting down on their knees in front of the hotel employees, completely in shambles.
We're very sorry for breaking all of those things.
We don't have any money to pay for any of the damages.
I couldn't help but to giggle, and I returned straight back to the party. After that, the two of them quickly fell apart. And given the situation, obviously they didn't have a wedding either. Now, in order to pay back his debt, Nelson is working from day until night at a restaurant and late at night at a factory. I heard he's working around the clock without any time to sleep. The apartment where he lives has a shared shower and toilet, and is so rundown that he shares the room with many bugs. These days, I heard that he's lost so much weight, and he looks twice his age. As for Rachel, she dropped out of college in order to pay back her debt, and I heard she started a part-time job, but she ended up quitting straight away. After that, apparently she was able to find another job, but that job was actually an illegal job. And not long after that, she was arrested for scamming people. Currently, I heard that she's in the care of the police. And they said she won't be able to come out for quite a while. Every day she's crying in jail, and she sends us multiple letters asking for our help and for our forgiveness. But I ripped them up and threw them in the trash. Well then, on the other hand, as for me, Mr. Isaac and my mom got married, and my mom and I moved into Mr. Isaac's mansion. As a director, I'm busy now, but the working environment is really great. So whenever I come home, it's a good kind of tired. For the record, my mom quit her job and is now a full-time housewife. The other day, the three of us were enjoying my mom's home-cooked meal while having dinner and… Hey, Mr. Isaac, what part of my mom made you fall in love with her?
Everything. And also, I think the number one thing would be her smile. I think that Penny's the most beautiful, wonderful woman in the world.
Oh my, you're making me blush.
That's so nice. I ended up making a huge mistake with my marriage. When we were together, I never could have imagined that he was actually such a terrible human.
Perhaps you haven't noticed that there's somebody in the office that says they're quite interested in you, Paige.
What? Really?
Oh my, maybe your prince has finally arrived, Paige?
And then, a few weeks later, to my disbelief, I was asked out by my boss at the company. And then, 3 years later, we got married. And now I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Thank you for watching! What kind of crazy people will we get to see next? Stay tuned for more!